During the 2022 construction season, the City of Ramsey proposes to reconstruct Sunwood Drive between Trunk Highway 47 and Waco Street, and Waco Street between Sunwood Drive and 150th Avenue. This project is identified as Improvement Project number 22-01. Please follow this public information presentation to gather more information about the project. During this presentation, we will give a brief introduction to the City of Ramsey engineering staff. We will review the purpose and scope of this street reconstruction project, review the existing conditions of Sunwood Drive and Waco Street, and review the estimated project costs, as well as the proposed project funding sources. Please know that properties will not be assessed for these improvements. Finally, we will go over the preliminary project schedule. My name is Joe Ferryanchuk. I'm the design engineer for the Sunwood Drive and Waco Street reconstruction project. The engineering division is made up of 6 full-time staff members. Our offices are located on the second floor of City Hall. Our staff includes City Engineer Bruce Westby, Civil Engineers Leonard Linton and myself, Field Construction Inspectors Aaron Madsen and Logan Check, and Administrative Assistant Marcia Widener. During the construction season, the engineering department will have 1 to 2 interns who may assist with project inspection under the supervision of full-time staff. Sunwood Drive and Waco Street are identified in the 2022 through 2031 Capital Improvement Program as a street reconstruction project in 2022. The Capital Improvement Program is a budgeting tool used by the city to help forecast expenditures, and City Council authorization is required before any project plans can be created, posted for bidding, or authorized to award a project construction contract. Many factors were used to determine which of the 180 plus miles of city streets to reconstruct. The main factors used include the age, pavement condition, municipal utility conditions, street classification, and estimated cost of repairs to the street. Sunwood Drive was built in 1985, and Waco Street was built in 1992, making the street segments 37 and 30 years old respectively. When built, the streets were built close to the standards used today. However, preventative maintenance was not properly done due to a lack of funding, and the pavement has reached the end of its useful life. The pavement is in poor condition, considered to be one of the worst segments of streets in the city. The result has been significant patching being performed over the last several years, which is a short-term fix that cannot address the structural issues with the pavement. The condition of Sunwood Drive and Waco Street has gone beyond the scope where overlaying the pavement is an option, and reconstruction of the street is required. This project will reconstruct Sunwood Drive between Trunk Highway 47 and Waco Street, and Waco Street between Sunwood Drive and 150th Avenue, totaling 0.48 miles in length. The work is anticipated to generally stay on the pavement, other than some work in boulevards associated with concrete curb and gutter repairs. Some excavation to repair damaged storm sewer pipe and structures will occur. However, this work will remain within the city-owned right-of-ways. That right-of-way is 80 feet wide, and the pavement is generally centered within it. Sunwood Drive was constructed in 1985, and Waco Street was constructed in 1992. These streets are both 44-foot wide urban section streets as measured to the face of curb and include parking lanes on both sides. Stormwater is directed into inlets located at low points. From there, a pipe network takes runoff into a pond located at the northeast corner of Sunwood Drive and Trunk Highway 47 and to an outlet into the Rum River, directly east of the intersection of Waco Street and Sunwood Drive. Ground penetrating radar, GPR, was performed on the street. GPR takes a reading of the ground at 1 foot intervals and can determine the thickness of the bituminous pavement and aggregate base. GPR results found an average of 4.1 inches of bituminous pavement. For various reasons, GPR sometimes cannot properly determine the underlying aggregate base thickness, which was the case on this project. Fortunately, as part of the soil borings taken for the geotechnical report, pavement and aggregate base thicknesses are measured, and an average of 6.4 inches of aggregate base was found. Besides storm sewer, sanitary sewer, and water main also exist in the project area. During design review, staff discovered spot repairs will be needed to the storm sewer pipe system, including removing and replacing 6 storm sewer structures and their connecting pipes. The water main and sanitary sewers were inspected, and no necessary repairs were discovered on either system. On an annual basis, city staff reviews every street segment within the city using the pavement and surface evaluation rating. The rating scale is from 0 to 10, with 10 being a new pavement. Sunwood Drive and Waco Street received ratings of 4 and 3 respectively, which rate these segments as some of the worst in the city. Since being constructed, the pavement has only received crack seal and seal coat improvements, which occurred in 1992, 2006, and 2013. Since 2013, the only maintenance performed on these streets has been pavement patching. Ideally, these streets would have received a pavement overlay improvement when the PASER rating was between 5 and 7, but due to a lack of funding, this did not occur. The existing conditions pictures were taken in the fall of 2021. This picture was taken on Sunwood Drive, just east of Trunk Highway 47, facing east. You can see there is a dedicated left turn onto Highway 47, which is not proposed to change with the project. The picture shows the road surface has some exposed aggregate and is experiencing block cracking, a sign of the beginning stages of structural failure of a street. This picture was taken on Sunwood Drive, west of Yakima Street, and is facing west towards Highway 47. Similar to the previous picture, we see exposed aggregate on the surface of the pavement and block cracking. The darker pavement is spray patching, which is basically how it sounds. An oil and small rock mixture is sprayed onto the pavement, covering relatively shallow potholes. This picture was taken on Sunwood Drive, west of Yakima Street, and is facing east towards Waco Street. This picture illustrates the extensive amount of spray patching which has occurred on Sunwood Drive in the last 2 to 3 years. Also, as we look down the curb line, we can see the concrete curb and gutter is generally in good condition. This is why the project proposes to only perform spot curb repairs where necessary. This is due to damaged curb, pedestrian ramp ADA improvements, and storm sewer replacements. This picture was taken at the Sunwood Drive and Waco Street intersection, facing west back down Sunwood Drive. The existing trail on the north side of Sunwood Drive will not be replaced with this project. However, the existing concrete pedestrian ramps will be removed and replaced to be updated to meet current ADA standards. This picture was taken on Waco Street, south of Sunwood Drive, and is facing north. The different colors of pavement give a clue to the maintenance history of these streets. On the south side of Sunwood Drive, the pavement is dark and has a more smooth finish. This is the section of Waco Street which was crack sealed and seal coated. Starting in the intersection, we can see most of the pavement is darker as we go to the north, with a few bare spots. The bare spots are the only portions of the street not spray patched, so as anyone who has driven Waco Street in the past several years could vouch for, nearly the entire street width was covered in potholes. This picture was taken on Waco Street, south of 150th Avenue, and is facing south. 150th Avenue is the northern end of the proposed project. Similar to the previous picture, we can see the entire width of Waco Street has received spray patching, and in general, the existing concrete curb and gutter is in good condition. This project proposes to reconstruct Sunwood Drive and Waco Street back to the existing width, 44 feet wide as measured to the face of concrete curb and gutter. Staff did a life cycle cost analysis of reducing the width of Waco Street to more closely match the pavement section to the south of Sunwood Drive, and this was found to not be feasible. The upfront cost of construction was estimated to be significantly more than the lifetime maintenance savings, as well as a high level of disturbance to the properties along Waco Street. The existing concrete curb and gutter will remain in place, with spot repairs to damaged curb proposed. This will also result in the elevations of the pavement staying the same, and generally speaking, only minor work on adjacent boulevard areas is anticipated. The existing dedicated left turn onto Trunk Highway 47 will not be altered with this project, and the remaining pavement marking layouts will also go back to existing. Very few impacts to existing driveways in the project area are expected. If the end of a driveway needs to be removed and replaced because of construction, the city's policy is to match the existing material, meaning if the existing driveway is bituminous, we will replace with bituminous, concrete will be replaced with concrete. During the project, we will give advance notice of when driveways will be removed and replaced, so property owners can plan accordingly. Please be aware that any concrete driveways, curb and gutter, or concrete pedestrian ramps will require 5 to 7 days to build strength before it can be driven or walked on. During the project, property owners will always have, at a minimum, walk-on access to their property at the end of the workday. But for the majority of the project, you will have drive access as well, though there may be periods when construction activities are occurring immediately in front of a property. During preliminary design, staff hired firms to clean and televise the storm sewer and sanitary sewer, as well as to perform leak testing of the water main. No issues were found with the sanitary sewer or with the water main. The city has received grant approval for inflow and infiltration updates to the sanitary sewer system. The city will be using this grant to install interior chimney seals on the sanitary sewer manholes, which prevent water from the pavement and upper layers of the soil entering the sanitary sewer manholes. The storm sewer did have some damaged pipe and structures, which will require removal and replacement. The majority of this work will be at the intersection of Sunwood Drive and Zuni Street. This work is proposed to include the removal and replacement of 5 storm sewer structures and connecting pipes. The repairs to the storm sewer system will not affect the existing drainage patterns of the streets or adjacent properties. Staff also hired a firm to perform a geotechnical report for the project. The report indicated poorly graded sand below the existing pavement section, which is excellent material for both road and utility support. Based off the report and staff experience with the surrounding areas, No subsoil corrections are anticipated with this project. As part of the report, soil borings were taken along Sunwood Drive and Waco Street. The soil borings found groundwater at depths below any proposed storm sewer work, so staff is not anticipating groundwater to be an issue during construction. The way contracts are set up for street reconstruction projects, city staff generally does not dictate the methods of construction the contractor uses, outside of which pay items we call out. The contract will determine when the project may start and calls out a specific date which the project must be complete by. We have administered several similar projects and have anticipated the build process to go as follows. The beginning steps of the project include that the existing bituminous pavement and aggregate base are reclaimed, which is grinding in place. The now reclaimed material is stockpiled and reused as the new aggregate base, as this reduces trucking and mining operations. The next step will be to remove and replace storm sewer and to perform the other project removals, including spot curb and gutter and concrete pedestrian ramp removal and replacements. After the new concrete curb and gutter has cured, excess reclaimed material is removed and stockpiled to be used on other city improvement projects. The remaining reclaimed material is shaped and compacted, and new bituminous pavement is placed. After that occurs, restoration of the boulevards happens. Sunwood Drive and Waco Street are municipal state aid MSA streets. Besides meeting city standards, the streets must also meet MSA structural requirements set by MnDOT. For these streets, that means meeting a 10-ton road design. A pavement design is most impacted by the subsoils it will be placed on and the amount of traffic it will carry. Staff performed traffic counts in 2021 and found an average daily traffic count of 1,800 vehicles on Sunwood Drive and 580 vehicles on Waco Street. As previously mentioned, the pavement will be placed on good sand, which results in the proposed pavement section being 5 inches of aggregate base and 4 inches of new bituminous pavement. The design is expected to have a 60-year design life with proactive maintenance. To date, staff has completed 95% level plans, which is to say nearly all pay items and quantities have been estimated. The estimated project cost is $561,000, including 23% indirect costs. Indirect costs include administration, engineering, finance, and legal costs associated with the project. The project is proposed to be funded with a combination of municipal state aid funds, stormwater utility funds, and sanitary sewer utility funds. The sanitary sewer funds are proposed to be refunded through the inflow and infiltration grant, which the city has been awarded. The initial 10-year CIP estimated project cost was $405,000. However, more extensive storm sewer repairs and inflation are both higher than originally estimated. This project will be funded wholly through the previously mentioned funds. There will be no assessments associated with this project. So far, this project has been in front of City Council 4 times. On August 10th, City Council accepted proposals for a geotechnical report and a separate proposal for a topographic survey of the project area. Both are necessary for project design. On August 24th, City Council accepted proposals for utility testing, which is critical information to help determine if the existing utilities can be expected to last the duration of a proposed pavement life. On October 26, 2021, City Council ordered plans and specifications for the Sunwood Drive and Waco Street reconstruction project. And finally, on December 14, 2021, City Council authorized the reconstruction of Waco Street to existing pavement widths. Staff plans to bring the final plans and specifications to City Council on March 22nd for approval, and authorization to advertise for bids. In the interim, staff asked impacted residents to reach out with any concerns or comments about the project. Staff plans to receive bids on April 18th, and assuming good bids are received, bring the lowest responsible bid to City Council for consideration to award a contract for the improvements. This schedule will allow construction to begin in early June of 2022. Staff will require, by contract, the project be complete by September 2nd, 2022, with final completion in late September. Residents should be aware that the city can only control when the contractor is given authorization to proceed, and that substantial and final completion dates are met, with penalties to the contractor for not meeting deadlines. The contractor has the flexibility within the start and completion dates to proceed on the project at their pace, though once they begin construction, they must continually work towards completion. Weather can also play a key role in the progress of a construction project, since much of the work cannot be properly completed with wet soils. Thank you for following the informational presentation for the 2022 Sunwood Drive and Waco Street Reconstruction Project. If you have any questions or concerns, please reach out to me by email or phone.